Who were the Strassi? The Strassi, in the times of fascism in Nazi Germany, they basically did everything this church does. What I talk about. They tricked people into entering the amygdala, into entering the fear mine. And once they trapped them in the fear mine, the people became predictable, so they knew what to do. That was followed by gaslighting. They would do weird shit, like if you preferred a coffee brand, they would have somebody switch out the coffee brand in your house, and then that person would gaslight you. They used all these psychological manipulation tactics to make people think they were crazy, and then when the people reacted, they would accuse them of being crazy. If you spoke out or said anything against them, they would accuse you of being crazy. And they would get everybody around you to say the same thing. This was the thing with the Strassi. The Strassi bugged women's phones from like wealthy families. Had those women go and spy on politicians, basically, and then turned those women in for spying on the politicians after they got the information from them. That's what the Strassi were. They were a bunch of jerks who completely misused psychology for just being purely fucking evil. And it ended with fascism in Nazi Germany. That is where it led to. Yeah. The entire time I was down here, even when I spoke to Annalie and Mummy God about the observation principle, just watching somebody causes them to get locked into the fear mindset. The Strassi did that to people. They permanently trapped you in the fear mindset, so you were constantly predictable, everything you did. And it wouldn't surprise me is if me sheltering in this house, me fucking not having a job, running me out of money, generally just me hiding out here, was all part of the plan with the white van. If this entire thing was all predetermined, pre-planned, and preset. And then they're like, oh, you just move through the fear, or you use the fear, or fear. Everything is fear with these people. And I would argue it's because at their core components, they're cowards. Yeah. This feeds into a fucking conversation I had with Stu where I was like, do you guys actually know psychology, or do you just force a certain psychology onto somebody and then go, they have that? Another thing that I would like to talk about was coming off like a grasping child. A lot of my videos I did here, I came off as like a grasping child. I wanted something and I screamed and yelled, and because anger in the inferiority complex makes you feel like you have control, but it's a delusion. You're just yelling like an idiot. It is a gorilla response. So I'm guilty of that. But I came off like a grasping child because they have Mary Bowberry. They have money they owe me. They have all these things that are rightfully mine, and yet they're not going to give it to me unless I do what they want. Okay. And I realize in these videos that even that aspect of this was all set up by these people to make me look like I'm fucking crazy. And that's the goal of the Strassi, is to make you look like you're crazy. We don't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. That kind of thing. I didn't even realize I was doing these things, but to be fair to myself, I was extremely emotionally dysregulated from having heavy metals pulled out of my brain. One of the stupider things I remember Blondie saying to me, because I mentioned I made up stories, is he was like, oh, you want to be a writer? I had never told him I wanted to be a writer because I don't have those abilities. But I'd also argue that is an extension of cruelty on his end, because he knows I have a writing disorder. And the cinema guys alluded to that I should just become a writer. No. You see, I don't have the physical capabilities of doing that because I am mentally handicapped. And I'm tired of this stupid shit. Like, the most toxic thing in this church is overcome it. Without the logic or reason of comprehending of whether or not that person's brain actually has those parts. when I was in the special ed room, and it wouldn't surprise me once again if this kid was a part of this church, there was a kid that had this social disorder, and he couldn't communicate with people in a really effective way, and he viewed it as a challenge, like something to overcome, but no matter how hard he tried, he didn't have it in his literal fucking brain to do that, because his brain didn't have that wiring. And the only thing that kid had was a lot of fucking self-hatred and resentment. And that is something that happens when you are a defective person. But this church makes it worse by telling you to overcome it, and then you don't have the legs to run. So what are you left to do? Beat yourself up because you don't have the legs to run. As stated, I believe the constant observation, the constant harassment, the constant lying. And Gavin, part of the reason Gavin set up that thing with Nancy Guthrie was he explained to me that I was right about his brother. He said he is like Stu. He does just want to steal your greatness. He does just want to hurt you. And he's going to deliberately, like, sabotage, like, this entire plan. And he told me he's not going to keep his word on anything he said he was going to do, because the only thing he knows is he hates me because he blames me for what happened, and he's the victim in it. And in his brain, he's the victim, so that makes me the bad guy. And Gavin went on an entire thing explaining to me that, like, whatever the test was from his brother was created because the first step his brother put together in this was he needed to get Mary Bowberry. And he needed to get Mary Bowberry so he could hurt me. And he agreed to giving me this test so I could fail it. And he explained to me that he knew I was going to fail because of what they did to my brain. Yeah, he knew from the beginning that the likelihood of me chelating myself was 0. And then he explained to me that in this whatever fucking ridiculous scenario, he was going to take all the wives, and then he was going to force me to take the ugly wife, and I wasn't allowed to say anything about it, and he was just going to run off. And I was like, the only thing I told him, I was just like, you might want to stay out of this, but the answer to the guy is a bullet. Not a conversation, a bullet. And he was like, well, I don't understand, because the church leaders that are malignant narcissists, there isn't anything to understand. It's all lies, Gavin. It's all lies, and it all needs to be destroyed. Okay? Yes, using a series of unnaturally cruel tactics, and he even got into, when Annalene Mummy God told me the cinema guys were supposed to help me, I guess the cinema guys are idiots, because they were working with Blondie the entire time. And once again, Blondie was literally, Gavin literally told me, he said Blondie's literally going to be hitting you with sideways information and having you triggered. And he basically explained the entire situation to me, and then he erased it out of my mind. These people, I don't know exactly what this is. I have a theory that they think if they program your subconscious mind with this information and then erase it later, that the information stays in your brain or something. I have a theory, but I don't know if that's what that is. I don't know if that was just Gavin venting. I don't know if he was just telling me everything his dumbass brother was going to do for whatever fucking reason. Only that his brother wanted to hurt me in every fucking form, and that includes stealing my idea of opening a church that actually helped people. It included stealing everything I had to teach me a lesson, and that lesson is, you humiliated me and taught me compassion, and now I can't fucking stand you because I did the wrong things every fucking time in every goddamn situation. Nobody holds me to account. I have no agency in anything I do, and you gave me agency. You gave me you humiliated me, and now I'm embarrassed. So now I'm going to dog you just like Stu dogged you. And he told me, he was like, I was right about everything. I was right about what his brother was going to do. I was right about how everybody was going to react to this. I was right, I was right, I was right. And he said that above all else, he was like, I was right when I said that his brother was going to interfere and manipulate the plan anyways, even though Annalene Mummy God told me they wouldn't do that, and he's like, his brother was going to do it anyways. And the entire long-range, passive-aggressive shit, he ran down all the things. Basically, Gavin ran down all the things explaining this shit to me. Explaining that that I myself would never fully comprehend anything that was going on when my brain was still recovering. And his brother knew that because my brain was still recovering, I wasn't going to do the calling a bomb threat and punch an officer. He knew I wasn't going to do any of these things. And basically he knew, like, all of it. It's all that shit. They locked me in the fear brain, and then I made fear brain decisions because they locked me in the fear brain. And then they were like, just move through it, without any training, without any skill sets. They were like, just move through it, without any proper formal fucking teaching of anything. They were like, move through it. Here's what I say to that. Fuck you. Okay? But the other side of it is, Gavin explained that, like, there is the slim line that I actually do what I'm supposed to do. But he said it was very unlikely because of, basically, this isn't a system of random chance. This is a system of a bunch of guys, the worst kind of people who know everything about psychology, and they know what you're gonna do. And this fed into a weird fucking thing Anal Eating Mummy God said, where he said he wanted to give me enough money to start a church, regardless of what happened, and he wanted to give Blondie enough money to start a church, because he wanted to see which one of us would win, because Blondie's going to go the authoritarian route in his church, and he wanted to see if it was actually possible for a non-authoritarian leader to take control and lead a church without the need to fucking murder their internal people and all these kind of facets. He said that he found my ideas fascinating because they were different. And Blondie's literal idea that he's going to do what this church does and somehow not be this church when he's going to end up exactly like this church. And Anal Eating Mummy God even approved that. Like, but I don't know why I always defer to him, but I guess it's because he's in a point of power. I don't know. This shit is bullshit. Okay? This shit is bullshit. Okay? It annoys me that I literally just watched a video with Simon Westler that explained every tactic that was used in me. Even the Strassi, they used to poison people with radiation. Radiation causes fear and anxiety. It literally locks somebody into fear mind. And you literally just make bad decision after bad decision after bad decision in the fear mindset. Once again, in horror movies, when you see people making bad decisions, that's not that's not fiction. That is just a fact of life. When it comes to these kind of things. I don't know why Gavin made any effort on his end. He basically told me that he viewed me and his brother as two guys with very massive egos. And both of us were unwilling to surrender to the other one, and it was just going to get innocent people hurt, and it was going to get innocent people killed, because both of us were refusing to do the right thing. And he explained that his brother turning himself in for poisoning me with heavy metals, and then using my presidential pardon, he could have done that. That was a legitimate thing. Blondie could have turned himself in for poisoning me with heavy metals, and then used my presidential pardon. And he was like, but he wasn't going to, because he had to get back at me. And he had to get back at me because I taught him compassion, and he couldn't fucking handle it that he didn't know something. He also brought up the fact that all their malignant narcissist church leaders can't handle getting help from anybody. When you help them, they attack you because it makes them feel inferior. So they try to murder your ass because you made them feel like shit because you helped them to begin with. And he was like, and this is another fault in Blondie's brain. If anybody tries to help him, he retaliates by trying to hurt them because you helped them. Dude, I'm tired of these goddamn malignant narcissists in this goddamn fucking country, dude. Okay? The only thing Stu proved to me is that he's a fucking imbecile. Okay? And all the training and everything, Stu failed. Okay, he failed. Blondie failed. Well, I failed because, like, what was... Well, once again, the idea that I was supposed to commit some type of crime and everything was just supposed to work out. Like, I have every reason to doubt you people. I have every reason to not agree with anything you do. But I realize the other part is yeah, I've been trying to grasp onto something that these people, I believe, were never going to give me to begin with. They were never going to give me to begin with. And even Gavin told me, he was like, when his brother said he would kill Mary Bowberry if I ended up with her, that wasn't a joke. He was going to do that because he can't fucking handle it. And I think that other video I did where I said you can't handle it, I think that was referring to what Gavin told me. And Gavin said that he just wanted, just like me, people to just do the right thing. He was like, none of this ego, none of this, I'm going to force you to do it, or I'm going to make you do it, or you do it. And he's like, and the only thing, Gavin said, the only thing his brothers demonstrated is that I was right about everything. I was right about everything that's wrong with this church. I was right about everything that was wrong with these people. I was right about everything. And he was like, the worst side of like the whole thing that I was right about even how this was going to turn out. He's like, the worst side of the fact that I was right about everything is the fact that his dumbass brother is going to use that to his advantage and then basically definitively prove me right in the scenario. He's going to virtue signal, he's going to pretend, he's going to lie. And the whole thing, once again, it's all handed to him. It'll be easy street for him because this stuff was handed to him. And he literally explained that to me. And once again, I don't know why any of this shit was erased from my mind. And I'm pretty tired of the goddamn tetralet LSD fucking bullshit, by the way. Like, every time there's a piece of information that's important to my brain, it's fucking erased by these piece of shit people who need a bullet to the head. Not a conversation, a fucking bullet to the head, because they're going to do the wrong thing every time. But Gavin did actually explain to me one thing about integrity, and he said that he thought it was important, and you're right, Gavin, it is important to explain what these people mean by integrity. What they mean is they swore fealty to the church, so they have to act with integrity toward the church. Not toward their values, not toward their morals, like real integrity is. They have to act with obedience toward the church, no matter what. And he said that he felt like that was going to be something that I really fucking struggled with in this, because I'm going to be like, oh, you guys just go out and murder women. Oh, you guys just go out and human traffic. And he brought it up because I went on about the blue-eyed guy murdering that girl at Ackworth, and then explaining to me that he has integrity. That's why he did it. And the problem with me is I didn't have integrity. If that's what integrity looks like, fuck you. But, Blondie literally explained to me that that was one of the key factors I had to recognize, is every one of these people, why I'm going to hate them is they completely swore fealty to an evil organization of evil people. And they're going to do everything to defend that organization. And he said that I was going to, and you know what a large amount of my videos are? Is me explaining that. Yeah. Ain't that some shit? The other side of it is I remember Blondie like, I'm going to get this guy that's not trained to kill a whole bunch of people, which I guess is me. Which I'm not trained, so that's probably not a good idea there, Blondie. You dumbass. I don't get what this game is. I do know that my subconscious mind, when I was telling Blondie about the church I wanted to open, I actually sabotaged that plan the same way I sabotaged his movie Diabolic. In Diabolic, it's a part of these church people. It's what the girl in it. Blondie was like, I'm gonna make a movie and it's gonna be super popular, and then I'm gonna report this and I'm gonna be so cool. And then he asked me how to make a movie, and I gave him all the worst ways you could do to make a horror movie. And that was something my subconscious, mind you, my smart brain was destroyed with heavy metals. My subconscious mind, for whatever reason, just decided Blondie was a fucker. So I started fucking with him and giving him bad advice. As I connect with my subconscious mind, it is Loki. It literally just enjoys toying with people. Yeah. Do you ever get the feeling you've been cheated? Because I have. I do.